Hi. So we're doing the 2020 Tasty Treats, and we're doing the house blocks, sampler blocks at the moment. And so this is what we're doing. There's 20 different blocks, so we're doing a different block each day for 20 days. And it's all something that's on my website on GourmetQuilter.com. So this is the block that we're doing. I'm also showing some of them in a different colourway so that the house walls are a different colour and the roof and background. So we've done block 1 and we've done block 2. And we're doing this one today. This is block 3. So to do this one, we've got some notes that if you've gone into the program that you'll have received with all your cutting information. So I've already gone ahead and cut my patches ready and my strips for the borders of the block. We're doing the roofs later. So what we need to do this time is we've got some squares in 2 different colours. So we've got a light grey background colour, and we need to draw some lines because we've got to make some half square triangles. So I just like to use a mechanical pencil for most of what I do when I'm sewing, and we need to draw a diagonal line from point to point on the back side of one of our squares. So I've chosen to do it on the background because it's usually lighter. Well, it is in this case. And we're not going to use half of the square, we just don't need it. However, it's quite a large enough piece to use in another project, so if you want to do that, and your notes will tell you all this, you can draw another line half an inch away, because we're going to be stitching on the diagonal line, and we can stitch again there and cut between them, and then you can save that other small bit, and I can show you that when we get to it, to use in another delicious project. So I've actually already done that. You have to do it on the back side of 4 of the squares. So I'm going to go ahead now and stitch on my diagonal lines. So I'm going to chain piece them. I'm going to come up the diagonal line first, and then I'll come back and I'll come up that second line that I've drawn there. So I'm just heading to the sewing machine with these. So you can chain piece these. Just pop the next one in and it just keeps on sewing. It's so much fun. So I'm just coming along now with the second line of stitching as I was suggesting. So I've done all the stitching, I've done both lines of stitching as I was suggesting, and now I'm just going to cut between those. So I'm going to lay the 1/4 inch line of my ruler right on the long diagonal stitching line and cut between that. So that should give us a 1/4 inch seam allowance because we drew the other line half an inch away. So I'll just trim these up. Now we don't need that smaller piece, however it's quite good to be able to use it in another project if that's what you'd like to do. I keep saving them. One day I'll do something with them. So I'm going to bring the iron over and press these now. So I'm going to press them into the darker colour. For no particularly good reason other than that it's darker. Doesn't really matter which way they go. And then we've got these other little pieces which we don't particularly need to press now, but if I press one you can see what you're going to be left with. I'll just finish these 4 that we need for the block. And then we've got 4 of these little guys here which I think are quite usable to be put into some other project. They could be trimmed a fraction so that they're nice and square for you. But I think that's a very usable little size for something rather than perhaps just maybe throwing it away or thinking, what will I do with all these triangles? So we don't need them now, but back to the block. So the block, I'm going to lay the block out now and then I'm going to join it together. So it's another little 9-patch type of block. So we've got the 2 diagonal corners there, and we've got one in between, and then we've got 2 of these and 1 of these. Then we've got our corners down here again, and then there's one of the coloured ones in the centre. So I'm going to join together my 3 rows and join the 3 rows together into the block, the same as we've been doing with our little 9-patch and things. It's a very convenient way to do things. So I'm just finishing off sewing the 3 rows of the little squares together, and we'll press that block. So I'm going to press the seams all one way on this one, just encourage them to flip over nicely. And there's a block, and because we're doing the house sampler, I now need to put my sides on and the top and bottom, the surrounds of the block, so I'll go ahead and do that and show you that when it's all finished. So I'm just coming down the last side of my surrounds. Press it. And then we've done block 3 already. That's pretty good. So that's block 3 done. We've done some half square triangles in there, so that's always a fun thing to do. We've got some little leftovers, the start of another little project maybe. And so that's looking a lot like that one looks up there with a different coloured surround. Just pin it up here so that you can see. So the insides are all the same colours, it's only the surrounds that I'm changing on those ones. So that's it for block number 3, and we'll see you again for block number 4. Thank you.